Hello there, and welcome. Today I've got one pickup, quite an interesting pickup. It's a game I've been looking at for a while, but it was quite an expensive one, less expensive than I was expecting. I got lucky, and obviously I've got Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes Delta, basically Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater. But on PS5, Series X, it's on. It's not on Switch, I don't think, though. So last video I did a while back where I did a comparison between is it worth this version versus the newer version of the game, the older version, sorry, of the game. So as I was saying, basically I've been playing through this, and I took out the end, which is possibly one of the best boss fights you can ever come across in a game. Unfortunately, I'd never done it before in the original version. I didn't even realize you could do it, but you can. I've said this in a previous video. You can take the end out before you have to face him. Yeah, so you can take him out in the wheelchair, and that's basically what I did. And so you don't have to face him later on, but that's one of the best boss fights in the game. This takes a lot longer to hit than it did in the old game. But I will show you the pickup in a minute, but I just thought I'd show this off for a second. As I said before, the engine does look really, really good on this. But the game, as I said before, it's the same game, but it is quite impressive what they've done. But I've been slowly making my way through this, but it's just not as much fun when you don't have the end to fight. I got the trophy for it, but it's not as much fun with without the end. It's such a good boss fight. I'm probably gonna go play through this again, I think, because I think it's so much fun, and it's one of those boss fights that takes a good while to deal with. Anyway, we'll move on to the main pickup, basically. Now, because I'm quite a big Zelda fan, and this one it came in cheaper than you would imagine it would come in, because it was I've seen them go for quite a lot of money. The last one I saw go went for I think £105 with manual and box and cart. So that's usually over what I wouldn't want to pay any more than about £80 to £90 for a game. The highest I've ever gone is Pokemon White 2, which was at £90. And it's not in mint condition, but I'm going to get a box protector because it is in pretty good condition. And that is Legend of Zelda, the Minish Cap. Now, I've never played this, so you can see there's some bit of tightness here and there, but nothing that bad in the grand scheme of things. And I'll just open up. It's all completely complete as far as I'm aware. So I've got the cartridge, and yeah, I have checked that it is legit. But my camera doesn't want to focus, as is the norm. But yes, I am very much looking forward to playing through this at some point. Once I've finished Tears of the Kingdom, so about 20-30, knowing the time it takes me to complete a game. I've got the Nintendo points thing. That's kind of cool though. I like that. Got a little poster of the NES Classics, Super Mario Bros. Obviously they did re-release a lot of the original NES games on here, so it's a good way of collecting NES games if you're not really into that original system. I'm not that into the NES, if I'm honest. It's an interesting system, but it's not one I've got a mass amount of nostalgia for. But it was a very, very popular system for a very long time, particularly for collecting purposes. Game Boy player. It's like been scratched off. Don't imagine it's valid at this point, but and then the manual. Black and white, interesting. I would have thought it would have been colour, but yeah. It's from I've only loaded this up to test it works, and from what I can tell with this game, it's it sounds like it's got the Ocarina of Time noises when he jumps or when he slashes his sword and stuff and runs into things. So that's kind of cool. But it's pretty much the first Game Boy Advance sort of game I've actually got my hands on. Now, as I said, it came in at the last one I saw was £105. Got a little Nintendo booklet as well. And this one I got for was it £68? £68.43, which, considering the last one went for 105, that's actually not a bad price at all. Considering now, obviously, I'm going to get a box protector because these cardboard's about 20 plus years old at this point. But it's very cool and neat to be able to get hold of these old games that are still in good nick. Because I'm looking at Ninja Turtles at the moment on PS2. I've looked at it on Xbox. The one I'm not familiar with, which is the 2003 show, I've never watched. Well, I was kind of out of Turtles by that point. But I'm going to have a glance at that. But yeah, I'm quite happy with this. Be even happy if I get it back in the box. The shipper did a very, very good job as well of pretty much protecting it. Better than I am in terms of actually trying to put it back in its box. It's not going for anyone at the moment. But yeah, so that's the one I'm looking at next. Is Ninja Turtles on PS2. I don't think I've ever played anything Ninja Turtles from that era. I was very much the 89 Ninja Turtles more than anything. Even that was technically before my generation, I guess you could say. And the animation looks really, really cool on it. Let's trank him in the face. Okay, maybe not. That was the idea, anyway. It's got a new weird view, which is kind of odd, if I'm honest. There is one thing I will say about this that I'm finding kind of weird is the trank gun seems to be more effective in the original game or the PS2 version and the other ports than it is in this particular version. I'm not. Oh, I've been seen. Oh no. Bollocks. Yeah, there does seem to be something kind of. Run, you idiot! Run. Let's go hide in the grass. Hide in the grass. Have you seen me again? How? There does seem to be something kind of Oh, what? That's not very nice. God damn, I'm really sucking it. I'm good at stuff, I swear. Yeah, I've completely lost my train of thought what I was saying before I start being shot at by twats. I'm going to go hide over here. But yeah, as I said, the trank, sorry. The trank thing, the tranks seem more effective on the old game. I don't know if it's just me, if it's just something, but it just, when you aim for their heads in the original game, you could really get a good bead on when you aim, and you hit them in the head, and they go down in one shot. In this one, there seem to be like you're having to hit it more, shoot several shots before they go down. So, but that could be just something I'm noticing. But yeah, I'm quite happy with the Zelda game I've got my hands on. I wasn't expecting to go for that little amount, because I said the rest have gone for ridiculous sums of money. And I don't know, I keep saying my pushing point's about £90 for most of these higher end sort of valued games and stuff, and so that does kind of put some games out of my reach if I'm honest with myself. But I mean that could change. Anything does. But such as Streets of Rage 3, which is like 150. There's a Zelda game, as I said before, on GameCube, Four Swords. I think that comes in at 90 plus. Why is the timer going back up again? You can't see me, so what's the issue? So that one's gone up a bit as well. But yeah, and there's Golden Axe 3, which you can't get. Rolling Thunder 3. I adore Rolling Thunder 2. It's a classic. Chaos Engine, which is another £50-60 upwards game. So anyway, I'm going to leave it there. I'm lacking in energy, Tom. I've been on the tired side. But I hope this has been informative and interesting. And give me shout outs in the comments of what games you're picking up. I love watching retro collecting. It's always fascinating stuff. Anyway, I will leave it there, and thank you for your time.